Hello, beautiful souls. Let's talk about decision making, making big decisions, which is a kind of problem solving. Do I go this way? Do go that way? Do I take the new job? Do I not take the new job? Do I take this apartment, even though it's not perfect? Or do I wait for something better? These kinds of things. Big decisions. One of the things that I do when I'm making a big decision is something I really discover. It's pausing, just taking a pause. It's something I discovered really by accident. And it made such a profound difference that I've done it for the rest of my life. And in fact, later, I read this really great description of Einstein talking about how he problem solves, and it describes what I had figured out. So, what happened? And how can you do this beautiful Einsteinian thing? So, here's the story. I co owned a healing studio in Thailand, a healing center with two people, and I was the manager. And I was my own boss, and I worked 7 days a week, which I loved. It was amazing. Um, some days were long, some days were short. Didn't really matter. I loved it. And of course, there were lots of problems that cropped up and decisions that had to be made, some of them big, some of them small. And everything was going along great. And I don't know, 3 or 4 months in, something happened that I wanted to take a Sunday off. Okay, why not? It was probably a wedding or a funeral or something like that. I don't even remember. So I take this Sunday off and then I go back in on Monday and a whole bunch of problems, like not just one or two, like a whole bunch of problems, decisions that needed to be made, problems that needed to be solved. When I came back in on Monday, I looked at them with this fresh perspective of having taken a day off and done something completely different, not work related at all. And it was really clear to me how to solve these problems, which decisions to make. And it was easy. And some of them were really intractable problems that I had been trying to figure out for quite a while and had gotten nowhere. And I rocked up on Monday and it was like boom, 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 boom. Done. That was crazy. So, as you can imagine, for the whole rest of the time that I owned the center and managed it, I took Sundays off. It was incredible, and it it just worked that way. So that's the practice. The practice is when you have a big problem or big decision, just stop. Stop trying to figure it out. Go do something else and then come back to it. And this is a beautiful way to make big decisions. Sounds counterintuitive, it works perfectly. And here's what Einstein had to say about it. He said that when he had a big problem to solve, some big crazy math question, he would do his best to think about the problem, gather as much data, information as he could, ask friends, think about past experiences, do all this stuff. And he'd be continually making connections, putting pieces together, things he would be moving forward. And then at some point, he'd stop moving forward. He would kind of hit a wall and he wouldn't be able to make new connections. Nothing would be, no new sparks were flying. He was just, stop. And at that point, he said, what most people do is they turn right or they turn left. Basically, they go backwards and they start reviewing all of the data that they already have. They start rethinking about their experiences, rethinking about their conversations, blah, blah, blah. But nothing new is happening. And he said, don't do that. As soon as you get to that moment where you're not moving forward anymore, you're not making new connections, pieces aren't falling into place, new information isn't coming, nothing's happening, you're not moving forward, stop. Go do something else. Completely different. Don't think about this problem at all. And then come back to it. And the reason this pause is so important is because it gives you time for all those other creative, subconscious thoughts, experiences, knowledge to bubble up and start to do its work so that when you come back to the problem, you have all that new information sorted out in your head and it's unconscious, right? You're basically allowing your unconscious wisdom to rise up and to knock on the door and be like, hey, right? And what you need to do is stop computing, right? Stop doing this computational mind process and just put that in the back seat, go do something else, and let everything else come up. It's marvelous. I love it. I've been an entrepreneur for years. I always take weekends off, Saturday and Sunday, no matter what. It's beautiful and it's consistently super helpful. So that's my first idea for you. I hope that helps. Go do something else. See you next time.